You ask me, what do I want? I should ask you rather than you asking me. Because it depends where you are. If you are identified with the body, then your wants will be different than food and
Imagine a man so powerful he could control millions of people without lifting a single finger. He did not have an army, he did not have weapons, he just had his voice. When he spoke, highly educated doctors, successful lawyers, and famous movie stars would fall to their knees and cry. They gave him their money, their homes, and their entire lives. But one day, at the absolute peak of his global fame, he made a choice that shocked the world. He decided to shut his mouth. For over 3.5 years, he refused to say a single word, and that simple, quiet choice destroyed a $1 million empire because it exposed the most dangerous trap in the human mind. In the 1970s, a man named Rajneesh, who the world now calls Osho, built a massive spiritual kingdom in India. He was a genius. He possessed a library of over 100,000 books. When he spoke, it felt like magic to anyone listening. He taught a very simple yet profound truth. Society has put chains on your mind. Drop the past, drop the future. Just breathe in this exact moment. When people heard this, they felt a peace they had been chasing their entire lives. They abandoned their old identities. They changed their clothes. They hung on to every single syllable he dropped. But Osho saw a very dark problem forming. He used to tell a famous Zen story to his followers. My words are just a finger pointing at the moon. Look at the moon. Do not worship my finger. Then he realized the terrifying truth. Nobody was looking at the moon. They were all worshipping his finger. They did not want to do the agonizingly hard work of looking inside their own minds. They just wanted a father figure to tell them how to live. They were totally, hopelessly addicted to his voice. So, in May 1981, Osho decided to give them the ultimate test. He stopped talking. The greatest speaker alive refused to speak. And without his voice to guide them, his followers were about to show the whole world exactly how weak they really were. When the master went silent, the followers panicked. They felt exposed. They wanted to protect him. They moved him to the high desert of Oregon. They bought 64,000 acres of dead, dry land. They wanted to prove their devotion to the silent master. They decided to build a perfect utopia from absolute nothing. They called it Rajneeshpuram. Thousands of followers abandoned their careers and flocked to the desert. They worked 14-hour days in the blistering sun and freezing snow. It was a miracle of human effort. But while they were bleeding and sweating in the dirt, their master was a ghost. He sat alone in his room. He read books. He listened to music. He did not lift a single stone. Every single afternoon, the silent king would leave his house. He would get into one of his 93 custom Rolls-Royce cars. Thousands of his followers would drop their shovels and stop working. They would stand by the road in complete silence. They would cover the hood of his car in flowers. They would weep. He would smile. He would gently wave his hand. But he would never open the window. He never said good morning. He never said, I am proud of you. Why was he doing this? He was handing them a blank piece of paper. He was silently asking them, what will you do when I am not holding your hand? The answer was very, very dark. When a father leaves the house, the children start to fight. Human beings are terrified of a vacuum. When a leader stops giving orders, people panic. And in that panic, the person with the loudest, most aggressive ego will always step in to take control. Her name was Sheila. Sheila was Osho's personal secretary. Because Osho refused to speak, Sheila became his voice. She told them, the master is silent, so only I know what he wants. She used his silence to crown herself queen. But Sheila did not care about philosophy, deep thoughts, or inner peace. Sheila only cared about power. The local Americans in the nearby Oregon towns did not like this strange, massive new city. They wanted Osho's followers to pack up and leave. For 10 years, Osho had taught his people to answer hatred with love and anger with deep understanding. Sheila did the exact opposite. She answered with fear. The beautiful city of dreams morphed into an armed military camp. Guards with machine guns stood outside the quiet meditation halls. They drove armored cars with massive guns mounted on top through the dirt streets. But the fear was not just on the borders of the city. It was rotting the city from the inside. Sheila was so terrified of losing her grip on the followers that she started spying on her own people. She ordered a secret team to wiretap the compound. They hid microphones in the hotel rooms. They bugged the public telephones. They even drilled a hole and placed a secret microphone directly under the floor of Osho's own bedroom. The city of peace was now a prison of absolute paranoia. And through it all, Osho sat in his room, reading his books, completely silent. He watched his followers fail the test. When you stop thinking for yourself, you eventually forget the difference between right and wrong. In the fall of 1984, the paranoia reached its breaking point. A secret group of followers cultivated a liquid laced with severe salmonella bacteria. They drove down from the mountain into a normal, quiet town. They walked into public restaurants. They smiled at the locals and they quietly poured the bacteria onto the salad bars. Exactly 751 innocent people were poisoned. Children, pregnant mothers, and the elderly were violently sickened and rushed to the hospital. It remains one of the largest bioterror attacks in American history. Look at what this actually means. These followers traveled to the ends of the earth to find God. They sacrificed everything to find pure love. But because they outsourced their own brains and because their master stopped telling them exactly what to do every morning, they committed a horrific crime. Osho's point was brutally proven. Without his voice to control them, they were completely empty inside. After over 3 years of silence, Osho finally spoke. He called a global press conference. The entire world waited with bated breath to hear what the silent master would say. Would he protect his people? Would he defend his beautiful billion-dollar city? No. He burned it to the ground. He looked directly into the cameras and exposed everything. He told the authorities about Sheila, the wiretaps, the assault rifles, and the biological poison. He publicly invited the FBI and the police to come into his city and arrest his own top leaders. He watched his entire empire get dismantled, and he did not shed a single tear. Most people look at this story and see just another crazy documentary about a strange cult. And even today, historians still argue, was his silence a brilliant psychological test from the very beginning, or was it just a convenient excuse he made up later to escape the blame? But honestly, the historical truth doesn't matter, because the final result was exactly the same. Osho's silence became a giant mirror. He held that mirror up to his followers and forced them to look at their own ugly reflections. He proved to them that they were not actually free. They were just obedient slaves desperately searching for a master. They wanted the aesthetic of freedom, but they hated the responsibility of it. You might be watching this and thinking you are completely different from those naive followers in the desert. But take a hard look at your life right now. You are drowning in noise. We wake up and immediately reach for the glowing rectangle next to our beds. We consume endless YouTube videos, binge podcasts, and follow internet gurus who tell us exactly how to live, what to eat, and how to think. We play loud music while we take a shower. We listen to people argue on podcasts while we cook our food. Why? Because we are terrified of the silence. If we sit in a completely quiet room for 10 minutes, we feel panic. Because in the quiet, we have to look at our own fears, our own sadness, and our own unfulfilled dreams. The story of Osho is a warning for you. If you rely on a YouTube video or a wealthy guru to give you strength, that strength is fake. If you need someone else's voice in your ear to feel okay, you will always be a slave. True peace cannot be downloaded. It cannot be bought in a course. It can only be found when you have the courage to turn everything off. Stop looking for the next smart quote to save you. Put down the phone, sit in an empty room, and listen to your own heart. Master the silence. Because until you learn to find peace in the quiet, you will always be a prisoner to the noise.